we are ready. Go for it.
Hello, my name is Wiemer, and I'm a freshman, and I am a business and Spanish minor.
Hi, I'm Brooke. I'm also a freshman, and I'm majoring in visual journalism and hopefully minoring in environmental studies.
Hey, I'm Julian Theberge, and I'm majoring in environmental science and minoring in music, and I'm also a freshman. We are making the treehouse. Now, this is not like your average treehouse that you might climb into when you're younger. It's more of a sustainable cluster that people can live in college. We're going to get into that later. First, I want to go over how this is going to go down. So we start with our vision, where we began, and then we're going to distill it into what, the smaller, more realistic version that actually came out of it. And we actually started this project before coming into Campus Funding Studio. Brooke and I had gone over a bunch of things that we wanted to do. We wanted to build this sustainable dorm room, this model dorm room that would have all retrofitted design and students that were willing to participate in a behavioral study to see how much could be reduced by one dorm. However, we decided that it would be more helpful for the campus if we created a more behavioral focused community, which would involve more community than just one room. So, as you can see here, this is where we first started. This was like months ago, and we were deciding, well, should we do a room, should we do a floor, should we do a whole stack? How are we going to make this community real? And so we ended up kind of deciding on, we really wanted a large enough community, maybe like 25 to 40, 50 people that could all bounce ideas off each other and live with each other and really make a community happen. Here's some nice words that we come up with that would describe the community. We got curriculum, proximity, common goals, leadership, and communication. Now all those things are components of pretty much any community that you can think of. And then we have these sustainability goals that we also want to tie in. And how we're going to do that is through the following. This is a video from a peer institute that we thought was pretty sweet. And I don't know, sweet, that just worked.
We should have a look. Awesome.
Going ahead and stepping up and taking the responsibility, even in a small way, really made a difference, for me anyway.
As a first year, I was sort of nervous about coming into this new environment.
I came in not knowing a single person with no experience whatsoever of what Carolina would be all about.
I really was looking for that small community that could be my home, my family, and that could support me throughout.
Being in a living learning community has helped me so much. I have a new group of friends that come to my room all the time. We talk about school, we talk about guys, we talk about anything.
I guess it's built on the fact that the people you live with are going to be people that you interact with the most. You have meaningful conversations, structured conversations about your living learning, your community topic.
It might be service, it might be religion, it might be substance free. You have whatever you're passionate about, there's probably a living learning community for it.
Is there? Is there really a learning community available for you? I don't really think so. Not on Western's campus, at least. Not yet. But other campuses have done this already, and we're behind.
Okay, most of the examples we looked at had some common elements. There are usually 45 to 50 participants. They lived in a co-ed environment. They focused on one or several sustainable issues, and they all had a big emphasis on creating a sense of community. That was apparent in all the examples. One of the examples we looked at had a student-driven curriculum in which the students had a faculty member propose their idea for what aspect of sustainability they were going to emphasize. In this example, one of their main goals was to hope that these students would later apply their learned knowledge to their everyday life. Another unique thing that we found was a learning community that had emphasis on learning about sustainability through different media outlets such as speakers, documentaries, seminars, and they try to create this round overall experience. But what was interesting about this is that the community did this not only through environmental aspects, but they did it through business, religion, creativity, and other things such as that. And you went to Wisconsin-Madison?
Yeah, I actually had the privilege of going to Wisconsin-Madison, and my girlfriend goes there, and she's like friends with everyone who's in that community. She tried to get in, but the program is actually so prestigious you actually have to apply, and usually freshmen don't because it's so sought after, which would be really cool if our program could be that desirable that people would actually have to apply to get in, because it would show a sense of, you know, really tight community that would be like, we really want to be here. And everyone seemed to really enjoy it in Wisconsin, and had the opportunity to talk to a kid named Max Sang, and he was just talking about how he just loved walking through the halls and just hearing the conversation all about the environment and sustainability, just after classes, you know, in between classes. And that's kind of that close proximity, tight-knit group that we want to build, where people are always talking about it. It's just after class, in between class, you wake up in the morning.
Another aspect that we wanted to think about was the psychology and the aspect of peer pressure. Peer pressure often has negative connotations, and really it's just the drive to be socially accepted. That can be very powerful. The power of peer pressure is not inherently bad, but it's simply just a desire to share the same beliefs or actions as a certain group. So, in saying that, many students know what they want to do, and living in close proximity with people who have the same goals will make it so much easier to continue pursuing them. So it's very essential for this focus to be brought to them in dorm life for students. And so instead of creating a barrier between what you do at home, what you do at school, we're going to try to like merge these. So it's just this constant state of thinking and being.
Environmentalism is not something you do in the classroom if you're an environmental science major. It's a way of life.
Alright, so now we're going to talk about what's going on our campus right here. So we have three powers at play. We have Res Life, the Eco Reps, and then our own project, the Treehouse. So Res Life is under university residences, and they're working in Buchanan Towers right now, trying to make Buchanan Towers a LEED certified building, which is, what they want to do there is create a sustainable hub for campus, so students that would go there, because they'd be interested in sustainability, there'd be a sustainable curriculum in that building for students. And then we also have the Eco Reps, which is part of the ResRap program, which is a residential resource awareness program. And Eco Reps are residents in the residence halls, working as liaisons between the Office of Sustainability and other residents to promote awareness of their impact on the environment and trying to alleviate that impact on the environment. And then the Treehouse, what we're trying to propose, would be a more tight-knit community within Buchanan Towers. And it would be all students that are really focused on sustainability and learning about environmental issues. And what they would do is be living all together, and living all together would promote this really good behavior that would hopefully make their lifestyles more efficient and have a lessened impact on the environment. We also would like to try to work with create a curriculum so that they could work together with Huxley professors as first-year students. And that would create a connection throughout the rest of campus.
Yeah, I mean, this interconnectivity is extremely important on campus because, like the Wisconsin-Madison example, I also got to talk to Cal Bergman, who's like the leader of the group, and he was always telling me, like every time I talked to him, he always stressed the importance of making sure that every department, like the three that we just three here, are all working together to make this happen. There should be no friction. It should be all just together. So we actually operate in separate niches on this thing. Like there's like similarities between our programs because they're all environmental, but the separate niches have to be clearly defined, and we have to go down that path. So what is this really? I kind of want to provide a more concrete example because I feel like it's kind of nebulous. There's the academic connection that Brooke was talking about, where it's like a freshman interest group where like students come together with similar ideas. But instead of having them spread out all campus and they do all their things afterwards, it'd be really like promoting that way of life of environmentalism, you know? And the academic connection is where they'll have a lot more chance for open dialogue with professors through some of the seminars, which I'll talk about in a second, where like I don't get to talk to professors very often. I don't know if you guys have, but it's really cool when you actually do get to have an open dialogue with professors. And you can learn a lot about where you want to go, what you want to do, what interests you. And so that's really cool. And then the curriculum, it would kind of break down like this. Over the course of the year, they'd start with an orientation where they'd have a mission statement that they would create with RAs. And so all the people in the group would actually create their goals from the beginning of the year of what they want to do. And then we haven't fleshed out the exact details because we haven't had a chance to talk to the faculty yet, but we want to have some sort of writing components where people are kind of journaling about their progress in environmentalism and how they've developed in terms of their activism and what they're doing on campus. And then by the end of the year, they'll have some kind of project that ties it all together. And we'd like to get a credit for these people who take this program, so it's not just a bunch of work and they don't feel like they're getting credit for their work. And so they'd have group meetings also to talk about what's going on around campus. So these people will be extremely aware, hyper aware of the environmental center, all the clubs on campus, sustainability, all the ESP programs and everything like that. ESP is sustainable transportation, the ResRap, and environmental center, and the Outback. Also, Buchanan Towers right next to the Outback, so that's a nice little play. And then, so one of the seminars I got to see was like a food eating one. It was really cool, sustainable food.
Dinner and discussion.
Dinner and discussion. And beforehand they'd have dinner and they'd have all these faculty invited. And they get to sit down with their faculty and just chat. There was no actual direction for the conversation, which I thought was amazing. Not having direction when talking to faculty is super cool. So that space is really cool. Then afterwards they got to talk to the chefs who cooked the sustainable food and how they did it. And there's more detail involved, but limited time. Field trips, field trips. They're cool. Themed quarters, these are just some of the ideas we had for different themes that can be explored through the quarters. I mean, the environment, economy, education, taking action, development, politics, creativity, personal, religion, ecology, all of those things have ties back to sustainability. So they can learn through all these things through the lens of sustainability. And is it another cool picture?
That would be a picture that's like some
Yeah,
trip idea.
we went to the wind farm and this is what we're doing. Anyway.
Alright, so just to reiterate anything about our sustainable community, one of the biggest goals would be that they're living in close proximity with each other, and due to this close proximity, they would hopefully have peer pressure that would create behavioral changes to be more efficient and to be thinking about these environmental issues all the time. And then also, of course, the faculty connection, because getting on a personal level with the faculty is really important into having an emphasized experience on campus. And yeah.
Okay, so we have some things to still address, and we've actually addressed a lot of these. Exclusivity was one that a lot of the ResLife staff were concerned about. Like, how come this program seems like a group of others when there should be connectivity, right? Well, we looked at each other and kind of said, well, we kind of actually want to create some exclusivity. I mean, this program is for people who are distinctly interested in the environment more so than others. And anyone can take it if they want. Anyone can sign up online. And we don't have a cap because we figure, I don't know how many people are going to sign up. We haven't had the actual experience of seeing who's going to sign up. But that exclusivity component is actually really important for creating a cohesive community of people who know who each other are because they are specifically for one thing. So, yeah, go ahead.
And then I was going to go on to, there's another problem that ResLife brought up was the fact that oftentimes with specific communities in the residence halls, students will just join, like say they want to live in that community for the actual location of the dorm rather than what the community is involved in. So to counter that problem, we would have an application process. So students would apply to be in this sustainable community like at Wisconsin-Madison, and that way that would alleviate that problem.
Program overlap, extra fees. I mean, we don't know how this is going to cost yet, so we don't know if students are going to have to pay a fine or not. That's pretty much like we'll have to see. Program overlap is one where it was a little bit confusing, like I was saying briefly, to define the niche that we would occupy, because there already is the eco-reps, and there already is that LEED gold certification that Buchanan Towers is trying to go for, which is an educational component that like gives them points towards their certification.